Hello and welcome. I just want to make a quick video just kind of chatting about the European Fanfest that just happened over the previous weekend. It's Monday morning. Fanfest is over. We got a little bit of new information. Not a lot. We got so many announcements and information, and we just a mountain of new stuff in the first FanFest, the one in America. And then this FanFest, it was a lot of review of that stuff and just like a little bit of new information. So like there's not a whole lot of really exciting stuff, and we just got a little tidbit here and there. But let's just talk about it because that's what we do. We just talk about Final Fantasy, right? So I have this really short list. The new extended teaser trailer. It's way better, right? I can't wait for the full one. I'm really optimistic about the story of Evercold. The new teaser trailer we saw. There's a cat girl who's like a quote unquote like falconeer. I'm almost certain that is going to be the Winterer, the villain of some point. We're gonna beat the shit out of that cat girl, okay? One way or another. She's gonna turn into a giant monster. We're gonna beat the shit out of that cat girl. Either that, or she's like the sweetest person in the world, and she's like the main character that we follow, right? But no, I think she's gonna be the villain. That's just gut feeling. I have no reason to think that other than she's in the trailer. Some people are theorizing that is that is the new Fizz range job. There's going to be a quote unquote falconeer or something. Have like a magic bird or something. I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt that's going to be the case. I don't think that's true. But I also didn't think that the double shield tank was going to be an actual thing. I thought the t-shirt was a little too obvious. We'll talk about that in a second. But anyway, the teaser showed us that new girl, showed us some guy who is the new tank, the double shield tank, called the Bastion. They showed me being a Reaper main, showing the clip of the Warrior of Light as a Reaper going into an Enshroud was hype as hell. I absolutely adored that. I'm so excited. I'm absolutely so excited. I don't want to talk too much about like story speculation because I feel like that could be its own video, but too long I didn't read. The little cat girl, she's gonna be the villain. The giants, I think the giants are either gonna be trying to eat the giant crystals that are obviously powering the what do they call them, the arc ships. Either that or like the crystal in the arc ships is made out of the crystal in the middle of the giants. Those are going to be intertwined really big. They showed really cool art for the arc ships. I think that's going to be really cool. They showed like there's going to be 5 arc ships. So what's most likely going to happen is those are going to be the first 5 zones of the story. And then the 6th zone is just going to be the ground underneath, right? We're going to go to the surface in the final zone. I'm really excited. The story is, I'm so hyped for the story. I cannot wait. But anyway, moving on. I don't want this video to be long. The new job is going to be the Bastion. So like I said, I was not expecting it to actually be a double shield tank. I thought Yoshi P's t-shirt with, I believe his name was it Ritaton? A Realm Reborn guy with the 2 shields. At first, I didn't want that. Because Ritaton, I always thought looked really stupid. I just thought he looked goofy with the 2 huge shields. It's like, well, how is he going to pick up a glass of water and drink, right? He always has his shields on in every cutscene that he's in. It just looked kind of goofy to me. But I will admit, they made it look pretty cool. I'm definitely looking forward to giving that a try. I tank a lot of like casual content. I'll tank extremes. I'll tank all kinds of roulettes. But like I don't spend a lot of time on tank in like difficult content. You know, I haven't I've tanked most of Uwu, but I never got to clear on the tank. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. They made it look cool. I'm excited. I think it's telling that they're changing the tank role into main tank and off tank, and the two main tanks, which is Paladin and now Bastion, both of them have a significant amount of ranged attacks. I don't know, that seems like too much to be a coincidence, I guess. I don't know. Seems weird to me. But anyway, Bastion's gonna be cool. Can't wait to do that. They talked about in the story 3 zone choices. They spent a little bit of time explaining this, which felt a little weird because this isn't new. In Shadowbringers, we could choose to go to I forget the names of Amarang, or we can choose to go to the Yulmore, the place outside of Yulmore. You can choose between 2 zones in Shadowbringers. In Endwalker, you can choose to go to Labyrinthos, or you can choose to go to the place with the tower with the 3 sisters. I'm horrible at remembering zone names, but you can choose there. In Dawn Trail, you can choose between going to the Pelo Pelo place and going to the Hanu Hanu place, if I'm remembering that correctly. You can choose. The only difference now is you can choose between 3 instead of 2. So this isn't new. They spent a long time kind of explaining how this works, and I'm like, this works just like the last 3 expansions works. It's just 3 choices instead of 2 choices. I wasn't crazy to hear about that, because normally when there's zones that you can choose which order you go into, at first you're like, oh, that's player choice. But like, what that actually means is that the story isn't gonna really pick up until the zone after the choices, right? So the 4th zone is when the shit is gonna hit the fan, right? And the first 3 zones are going to be probably more world building, more setup, more introduction. That doesn't mean that it's bad, because remember, we had that in Shadowbringers, and both Alizé's zone and Alphinaud's zone, both of those were really good zones. So, doesn't mean that it's bad, but it does mean that we're gonna have to wait until the 4th zone for things to really hit the fan. That's fine. Outdoor zones, more like field ops. I'm really excited about this. Really, really excited about this. I really like Bajda, and Bajda had a variety of content at a good interval of pacing. You can grind mobs, which was useful because you needed to grind mobs to spawn specific fates. You can do the fates, which will spawn specific bosses. And then the bosses were a great variety, because some of them are really easy and some of them are kind of tricky. And then eventually you get a little raid that you can queue into. Or you can get the one-on-one duels, which were really cool. All of those, that huge variety of content, if we can have even just some of that in normal zones, that'd be great. It'd be a reason to go out into the zone again. You know, you can attach different currencies into the outdoor zones. And for me, that is especially awesome, because I live in Party Finder, and sometimes Party Finder takes a long time to fill. I Party Finder Ultimates, you know? Even right now, I'm still Party Findering Kefka. I'm this close to get into Phase 4. But in Party Findering Kefka, sometimes it takes an hour to fill. Especially if I'm playing in an off-hour hour. And if I could have just like an outdoor zone to do interesting, productive stuff in while I'm waiting for my Party Finder to fill, that would be great. I would love that. Because right now, honestly, a lot of times when I'm waiting for my Party Finder to fill, I have another overlay. I play Pokemon. I open up Pokemon and I do a Pokemon Nuzlocke or something while I'm waiting for Party Finder to fill. And I've played a lot of Pokemon waiting for Party Finder to fill. So having something to do in the game that would be productive while I'm waiting for Party Finder to fill sounds great. And it could also be just really interesting. Like if you could put like a duel in every zone, that would be amazing. I love that. Again, this is all, I don't know. They didn't say exactly how this is going to work. They just said it's going to be more like, you know, I think they specifically said like Eureka style. But anything new in the outdoor zones to make the outdoor zones feel more alive and relevant, that'll be great. They spoke a tiny bit about the new raid difficulty. In my last video talking about the last Fanfest, I said that the new raid difficulty is likely a mistake. I still think that. So they said that the new raid difficulty is going to be around the difficulty of extremes, or maybe a little bit easier. Okay? It's new, obviously people are gonna do the new thing, right? However, what I said in my last video is that the people who are not doing quote-unquote difficult content are not gonna do difficult content. The people who, like, normally, like this, a lot of times the same people that are doing Savage are the people doing extremes. Like, obviously it's not a hard rule. There's obviously people that do extremes and don't do Savage, but having more fights that are extreme difficulties, I feel like the people who aren't doing extremes, they're not going to do this new one. They're just not, right? I honestly think it's kind of a waste of production time. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. My experience with people that I talk to is again, like, if you play the game, if you do the battle content in the game, then you're going to do the battle content in the game. And if you don't, then you're not. And adding more of this probably isn't going to increase the amount of people that are doing it. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. Basically what it sounds like is now on every even patch there's going to be 4 extremes added to the game, right? And if you're not doing extremes already, you're not going to do these. But what do I know? Maybe it'll be extremely popular. We'll see. They specifically, Yoshi P explicitly said, you know, you don't have to do this. You can go straight into Savage, but there is some gear attached to it. Savage is not changing. Savage is staying the same way that it is. You just, you know, gear drops and you get the gear. There is what they call seasonal gear attached to the this new middle difficulty. And they say season gear is going to grow over time. So the way I interpreted that, and again, this is a guess, but it's probably, so let's say the Savage gear is like, I don't know, 830, right? The seasonal gear is probably going to be 820, and then over time you can upgrade it to 830. So by the time like you're deep into the patch, or you know, the quote-unquote season, by the time you're deep into that, you'll probably be the same item level as Savage. There's a lot of questions about this. You know, they call it seasonal gear. Is this gear only attached to this new difficulty, or can you upgrade your seasonal gear by doing more of the outdoor content? Is it going to be, you know, the same gear? There's so many questions that we just don't know. So like, there's not a lot to say until we know specifics. We can only speculate. And my speculation is that I don't really see the point in this new difficulty. Obviously, like, some people are going to do it. Some people are going to love it. I don't expect it to be wildly popular. They did throw out numbers, which was interesting. They threw out, what'd they say, like 15 to 20% of people clear Savage, and like 80 or 85% of people clear normal. I mean, of course, normal is not an obstacle. Everyone can clear normal. You can go into normal and you can just die over and over again and you'll get carried. You're gonna clear normal. It's not, it's story mode. I I don't think adding this new difficulty is going to make anyone else do Savage who's not already doing Savage. And then finally, they talked about the theme for the new raid series, and it's Final Fantasy VII. It's a full crossover, because the last installment of the Final Fantasy VII remake is coming out next year. So this raid is going to come out, and then the last installment of Final Fantasy VII remake comes out later. I have conflicting feelings about this. So first, I haven't played the remake yet. I played a little bit of the Final Fantasy VII remake, the first part, just a little bit. I didn't get that far into it. I really enjoyed it, but I really want all parts to be out and just be able to play through an entire story. In retrospect, that's going to be an enormous project, because that's going to be like, if each one of them is 40 hours and there's 3 of them, it's going to be 120 hours. Holy hell. But I haven't played the remakes, but I have a very, very special place in my heart for the original Final Fantasy VII. It was my game when I was growing up. I grew up with Final Fantasy VII. It wowed me as a child. I have played it so many times. For a while, like I played it like once a year. I haven't done that for a while, but for many years I played it at least once a year. It was good every time. I absolutely adore Final Fantasy VII. So having a raid so Final Fantasy XIV is my favorite game of all time, and having a Final Fantasy VII raid in there is gonna be very fun. It's just gonna be fun. The theming is gonna be great. The music is gonna be great. It's gonna be so awesome seeing the bosses from Final Fantasy VII in a Final Fantasy XIV setting. But I don't like crossovers. The problem with crossovers in Final Fantasy XIV is that they usually have no lasting relation or meaning to the world that we're playing in Final Fantasy XIV, Atheris, or the story or whatever. Like think about both like the Final Fantasy 15 and 16 collabs, right? I know it was only like one little cute quest chain, but both of those was like, the main character gets transported into our world, we have to help them out, and then they're like, gee, thanks for helping me out, now I'm gonna go back to my world, and it's a nothing, right? Or think about the Nier crossover, where I watched like a 2-hour video of someone explaining the Nier story in Final Fantasy XIV. I got a whole history lesson of Nier in it, and like, it's nonsense. Like, it's just complete nonsense, and it has no impact on our world. The Alliance raid of Dawn Trail, it's like, I'm sure some people that played 11 really enjoyed seeing 11 inside of Final Fantasy XIV, but as far as like impacting our world, it didn't have any of that. So I'm worried that this is that it's going to be like, oh, Cloud, Tifa, and Sephiroth got transported to our world for reasons, and now we got to help them defeat Sephiroth, and then they can go back to their world, and I don't know. I would like to think that they can come up with a clever story so it doesn't feel that way. But again, I mind that, but it'll be fine, because I'm just going to be so happy seeing Final Fantasy VII stuff in my favorite. Raiding is my favorite thing to do in 14. I adore Final Fantasy VII, so we're going to get Final Fantasy VII raids in 14. It's going to be a good time. And in 3 or 4 years, we're going to get a Sephiroth Ultimate. We're going to get a freaking Sephiroth Ultimate in a few years. That is going to be incredible. So a part of me is a little but a bigger, more, childish part of me is like, fuck yeah, we're getting Final Fantasy VII raids in 14. It's gonna be great. So there's not, like I said, there's not like a ton of new information, no big revelations from this FanFest. I still really enjoyed it. It was really fun to just wake up, make breakfast, and watch the keynote while eating my breakfast. We found out some cool stuff about my favorite game. So I am really looking forward to Evercold. It's gonna be really fun. I did really. The only thing I was really disappointed with, like actually disappointed with the whole thing, is I just wanted to see more Evolve Job stuff. But they did mention they're gonna have like a 4-hour live letter or something about Evolve Jobs at some point. I am still nervous about Evolve Jobs. I didn't like what I saw with the Evolve Jobs in the first Fanfest. I'm really dubious about it. I kind of think it's going to be bad, but I am trying to be optimistic. I hope that I love Evolve Jobs. Hopefully Reaper, because I adore Reaper right now. Anyway, that's my feelings on the European Fanfest. Do you agree with me, disagree with me on how I see things? If you know, let me know below. Maybe we can argue, maybe not. Have a good one. Bye-bye.